All right, here we go. We have Keith K.P. Presley, also known as Chicago's Black Scarface. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, man. It's a real treat.
Well, a lot of stories have been told about you, but I really want to get the real from the person. So I want to start in the very beginning. So you grew up in Chicago.
Yes, I did.
In the Wild Hundreds.
Indeed.
Okay, on 103rd, right?
10 Trey.
10 Trey. So what was that like in the 70s?
The 70s, it was very pleasant. It wasn't nothing, no criminal activity that I knew of because I lived a very square life.
Okay.
And my parents, both my parents together, they both worked. One worked in the steel mill, one worked for CTA, Chicago Public Transit Union. And I was just an atypical kid in elementary school in the 70s.
Okay. And as you're growing up, you go to high school, you go to Percy L. Julian High School.
Mighty Jaguars.
Okay. And at that point, are you completely square, not doing anything, just an athlete and going to school?
Square as a pool table and twice as green.
Okay. Okay. So you graduate high school and you're actually an athlete. You're a wrestler, right?
Correct.
You go to college.
Yes.
Eastern Illinois University.
Yes.
So what was that like when you first went there?
It was a beautiful experience for me because I never inspired to go to college, really. But I ended up getting a scholarship for wrestling and went to Eastern and just became an adult there. I went in a kid, came out an adult.
Okay. And this is the early 80s, like 82,
82,
83?
yes.
Okay. So here you are, you're going to college with aspirations to do sports and get a degree. Then at one point you meet someone that kind of changes your trajectory.
That's true.
Okay. And who was that?
A friend of mine is on the college campus. He came to my came to my apartment and he was like, man, I need to use your place. And long story short, he wanted to chop up some drugs in my place. And that's when I became introduced to that. And I'm like, whoa, he can do that. I could do this. And that's where the bug bit me at.
Okay.
Yes, that was.
Okay. So what? He just had like an ounce and he wanted to bag it up?
An 8-ball.
8-ball.
A whole 8-ball.
Okay.
He was balling.
Okay. So he breaks it up, bags it up in your house, and then he brings you into the...
No, he didn't. He went on about his way. He bagged up like $500 worth of stuff. And I'm like, damn, that's $500 worth. That's 500, 500. We talking about 1986. $500 is like $5,000 right now. So I'm looking at like, wow, and he said he had it all them sold basically. And I'm just looking at like, he ain't no different than me. He can do it, I could do it.
Okay, and at that point, have you ever tried drugs?
Never been, I'm 57 right now. I've never been drunk or high a day for in my life. Never tried it, never knew what a drug dealer was until I became one.
Okay, so even in the neighborhood where you were, you didn't see drug dealers, drug addicts, nothing less like that?
No, I grew up very middle class. I mean, it was people that did drugs, of course, but wasn't nobody hanging out on the corner, wasn't nobody nodding out, wasn't nobody shooting each other. And then I was an athlete. I was a star athlete, so I stayed in that realm. I hung with people that was trying to lift weights and run and, try to get scholarships and stuff like that. So I never hung in the streets, never, gang bang and none of that kind of stuff.
Okay, but now you got introduced to this fast money. And do you go and buy some yourself at that point?
Exactly. So I initially went, the guy who introduced me to the game, he turned me on to his connect, and I went and caught me an 8-ball.
Okay. So now you have an 8-ball.
Right.
And
so
you need customers.
Yeah. So the funny part about it is when I went to go buy the drugs, he gave it to me in an 8-ball. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I ain't got no bags. I ain't got no nothing. Like, so he told me he charged me another $25 to bag it up and mix it up for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how green I was, man. I didn't know nothing. All I knew I was going to double my money. That's all I knew.
Okay. And how'd you get your customers initially?
I talk about that in my book where I was just on the block and one of the guys said he finna go get some. I'm like, I got some. And they thought I was joking because I'm not known to be a street dude and I'm a comedian in the hood. So they looking at me like, yeah, right. I'm like, man, I got some. So I ran to the house and brought all of my, 20 bags? I brought all 20 bags out. Like, look. So he bought one and he took a bump, because they wasn't freebasing then. He was just a snorter. He took a bummer like, man, this is some good. And he bought another bag, and then I left there and went to shoot some dice with some cats, and lo and behold, these guys was in the back room freebasing, and the rest of history, man. I made $500 in one day, and that the greed set in instantly. Like 500 in one day, it was effortless.
Right. And the next 45 days, you made around 40,000.
In 45 days, I made $30,000.
30,000.
Yes.
Okay. And for being a college student, you're basically rich at that point.
I went from having a couple of $100 to having $30,000 at my disposal in 45 days.
Okay. So you essentially, and you talked about this in your article on As Is, you went from being a college student selling drugs to a drug dealer that was in college.
Yes, that's true. Because even though, matter of fact, when I first started in 1986, up to an 8-ball was a misdemeanor. So you got guys doing 30-year sentences now for 8 balls when they changed the law in 87, when it's crack. So it's 100 to 1. So if you had some prior convictions and stuff, so it went from being a misdemeanor to like getting real major time. So I understood that I wasn't a small time, because when I first got in the game, I bought an 8-ball, and then in 45 days, I bought a quarter key. So,
okay.
And I was in college.
Okay, and by the time you're graduating, you're pulling up in a Benz with AMG rims, and you're wearing mink coats, and you're just doing the most.
Yeah, I was doing the most this. That's what I was doing. I mean, that's what you do. It's new money. You want everybody to know you got it. So when I graduated from college, I went to my college graduation in my own AMG Benz with a mink coat. The car was completely paid for. You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't hit me in the ass with a red apple, even though my AMG Benz was red. I was 22, and I had a 29-year-old girlfriend, and I was living a good life. That's the truth.
Okay, so now you graduate, and now you're a full-time drug dealer.
Absolutely. Never went to pick up my diploma or nothing. I'm all in.
All in. When do you get the bigger plug?
That came years later. I never inspired to be a kingpin or nothing like that. It grew organically. If you think about it, when I finished college, I had at least $100,000 cash. So I'm rich. I had no aspiration to be no millionaire. I'm already rich. I got the car I want. I live downtown Chicago. I got mink coats. I got Maury shoes. I got Barber Bates leather outfits. I got North Beach leather outfits. I'm rich, even though I know it's guys much larger than me. I found out later there's levels to it, but in my mind, I was content.
Okay. And a couple of years later, you actually get a bigger plug.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be what I became. I was just, that's a lot of money still to have. Where I'm living, the cars I'm driving, the women I'm dating, the clothes I'm wearing. It was to me, I was the man. But I wasn't. I was in the way, really.
Okay. And then your plug actually came from the Mexican cartel.
That's true. How
did that plug come together?
I talk about that in my book, where a guy who I was dealing with, he ended up getting murdered, and I ended up inheriting it through a bunch of layers of things. You know what I'm saying? Just it happened, and I go into great detail about it, where initially, I want to say I got 50 keys from them or something like that. Initially, that's like right off the top, they gave me 50 keys, in front of me 50 keys, and I want to make sure I tell the story correct. No, the first time I seen them, I think I got 200 keys. It was either 50 or 200. I can't remember right off the top of my head right now. It was a substantial amount of drugs, that's for sure.
Well, how much were keys going for back then?
In Chicago, like 17,000.
Okay, so 200 keys times 17,000. Talking about $3.4 million.
Yeah.
Someone just gave you $3.4 million and said, we really hope that you bring this money back or else.
That's what happened, yes.
Because if you don't bring it back, there's going to be massive repercussions.
Oh, you're going to have to answer.
Right. You and everyone you know.
That's for sure.
Okay. So now you're sitting on 200 kilos. How do you get rid of that much weight? Because you've never seen that much weight before.
Well, at the time, I was moving 50 keys a week, so it's a natural progression. to go to 200. I end up going back to every guy I ever dealt with before and negotiating with them. Negotiated a deal, we came to terms, and I became their plug.
Okay. Well, with this game comes the jealousy, comes the kidnappings, comes the robberies, comes the snitching, comes the violence, and you had to deal with all that.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually a kidnapping that happened with one of your guys.
That's true.
Talk about that.
Oh my God, this dude, he's so blessed to have me in his life, because literally if he would have called me 10 minutes later, he probably would have been dead. I was on my way out of town, and he called me and, basically talking about bring $400,000 down to these guys. And I was like, for what? And he's like, I'm kidnapped. And you know what happened to kidnappers, man? They was putting the bats on them. They was treating them real bad. And long story short, I ended up paying this ransom. I ended up giving them like $75,000, $85,000, and they let them go. Now, if I wouldn't have took that money down there, those guys who had them, they was real killers. They would have took him out. He know it, I know it, and everybody that know about the story know he would have been offed.
Okay, what happened to those guys ultimately?
Oh man, dude, the guys who kidnapped him.
Yeah,
I think they got away. They got away. I think, I'm not sure, because that was his problem. That wasn't my problem. That was his problem to solve. I just saved his life. That's all I did.
Okay, and there's an attempted kidnapping on you as well.
Yes. Well, the kidnapping come with the game. Gunplay, kidnapping, jealousy, and all the things you just named. So I peeped game with binoculars, saw him coming, and spent up off them people like New Edition, and they couldn't catch me.
They actually chase you?
Yes, they chased me.
Okay.
And I end up running in a hospital, ducking behind some stuff, and by the grace of God, I got away.
I mean, was that the most serious situation you had gotten into?
No, I've been shot up before.
So you actually got hit?
Yes.
Okay, what was that situation about?
Well, they didn't shoot me for fun. They shot me because they was trying to take me out. I got 6 holes in my body because of that, and I made it. I'm a winner. I'm a survivor. I'm here.
Well, what was can you put me in that situation? Like, what exactly happened?
I pulled up to my mom's house. A guy speak to me. Next thing I know, them guns going off, and then they spent off. They took off, and I end up going to the hospital. Been in the hospital for about a week or two, and had to rehab, and had to wear a colostomy bag and all that old stuff.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. That was a shitty deal.
Yeah, literally. Sorry, did you recover from that though?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. So this happened right in front of your mother's house?
Yes, it did.
Was your mother in the house?
She was.
So she saw you get shot?
She did not see me get shot.
But she heard you get shot?
She heard me get shot. Mm-hmm.
So your mother's probably screaming and freaking out and...
Well, when she opened the door, she thought I was playing, because you got to realize I'm a real comedian, man. So she thought I was popping fire. When I ring the doorbell, she's like, "Oh, I hear you popping them firecrackers." I'm like, "No, Mom, I've been shot." And she didn't believe me till I laid on the floor, and I thought I was out of here.
Okay, the guys who tried to kill you, you knew who they were?
I do not. To this day, I don't know who shot me.
Really?
I've heard rumors of where it's supposed to came from, but I can't confirm it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the streets talk, but ain't nobody claiming nothing. I mean, because
especially since
if they claim it, trust me, they got problems.
Okay. And along the way, your friends are getting killed as well.
I've had several people, associate friends and family members, that end up getting murdered in the game. It come with the game.
I mean, when you got shot yourself, was there a serious, thought process of, I may need to just get out of this. Let me just move somewhere away from here, because clearly this is happening in my home city. People know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, people I know are getting kidnapped. There's a kidnapping against me. Like, why not just take the money and just go to California or go out of the country?
All that sounds nice, but that ain't real. Because when you're getting real money and grand theft money, you want some more money. So they got guns, I got guns. I got caught off my square. Anybody can get caught off their square. They didn't succeed, and the show must go on. Big wheels keep turning.
Okay. And there was a an interesting deal you had, I think, in Pennsylvania, where it was $1 million drug deal.
That's true.
Tell me about the guy who actually pulled up to collect the money.
I mean, it'll never be another situation to top that one, man. This man rolls up to me to buy 50 keys with $1 million cash and a 600 Benz with rims on it. I couldn't believe it. I mean,
did it say drug dealer on the license plate also, or
I think he had a cape on too that say look what I do. For real, man. So anyway, the deal went through. It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. He paid for the drugs. He put the 50 keys in his trunk and he drove off into the sunset.
Right. This was in the hood where you guys are doing the deal.
This was in the hood. It was unbelievable. He made it. He a good guy. Man, kudos to you, my man. You're a good guy. Much respect.
Okay. So at the height of your operation, you're making $25 million a year?
That's what the feds claimed I was making. You know I made at least $26 million.
Okay. And you had private jets?
I rode private jets. I didn't own
You didn't own any private
Nuh-uh.
jets? Okay.
That's before people really know about them PJs. You know, I was ahead of my time.
Okay. But with your plug being in Mexico, are you actually going out there meeting with them, or they just bring it all over here?
I definitely went out there to meet with them. Definitely sat down with the heads of cartels, worked out the deal, got it back, sold it, gave them their money, and kept the boat afloat.
I mean, when people watch Narcos and they see how the Mexican cartels operate and so forth, and all the murder and everything else that occurs, how accurate is that from your point of view?
I never got into the murder part of it. I could just speak from my own reality. To me, I was a narco, I was a kingpin, and I kept the violence to a minimum. You know, I wasn't no pushover, but you know, I definitely know how to take care of some business. And so, because you can't beef and get money, beef and bring heat. And so, you know, I dealt with people that want to get money. And, you know, and even when people that get money, you know, gunplay is inevitable. It's going to happen.
Well, I mean, what happens along the way? You know, when you get a package and then things happen, the police bust, and confiscate a bunch of your product, or someone rips you off, or, you know, someone you sent, you know, who you fronted ends up, you know, losing it or whatever else. I mean, things go wrong in this game all the time. It's not like you can call the police and report stolen property, you know, and the cartel guys want their money. It doesn't really matter to them what happened to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's a great, you have great insight. That's how it goes. So you pay the bill. I have a story in my book where, you know, I paid a $2 million bill for somebody.
$2 million bill?
American money.
Okay, because they lost the shipment?
A whole lot got lost. I just know I took the responsibility, but it wasn't nothing. I paid $2 million, I made $50 million. So that was a good trade-off, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at the height, how much cash did you have? At your very height.
I get that question asked all the time, and I don't want to just do too much, but okay. I just say that I very easily was an 8-figure guy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because 9-figure, you had to be in the 100 million category. So I surpassed 10 million easily, and I was less than 100 million.
What was the most ostentatious thing that you ever bought? Just the most over-the-top item, period.
I bought a $250,000 watch.
Really? What kind of watch was that?
It was a Chopard.
Okay.
Yeah. Top
Chopard.
notch. It was a beast.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had one of my friends, I told him I paid $250,000 for the watch. And he told me that before he paid $250,000 for a watch, he'll hire somebody to walk behind him and yell out the time.
Here you are and you're running your business. And at one point, Cook County actually puts together a narcotics task strike force. Mm-hmm. And they start to investigate your operation. Were you aware that this was happening?
I didn't know it was a narcotic strike force. I didn't know their particular name, but I knew something was happening when all these guys I was serving kept getting popped off like good reefer. You know, one guy got popped off with 65 keys, another guy got popped off with 35 keys, another person got caught with 30 keys, and, you know, all those things I was responsible for. So just like you said, they lost it. I had to pay for it. I paid for it.
Okay, and up to this point, were you getting arrested at all or no?
I got arrested like later on afterwards because they had me on under 24-hour surveillance, and they ended up catching me with a pistol and like $20-some thousand in my pocket, and, you know, tried to make it a big deal.
Okay, well, the people around you are getting busted. and then they really start to get closer to you. And at one point, they actually, pull the trigger and start to bust everybody. This huge seizure comes around. So they're saying the seizure narcotics was more than $18 million. Okay. Along with the drugs. So they got 150 kilos and other drugs. $882,000 in cash. 11 vehicles. A 26-foot boat. 21 cell phones, 5 computers, 2 scales, 2 money counters, and a custom-made press that was used for packaging narcotics. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. And that's just what they found. They got lucky. And I got lucky too, because they definitely didn't find everything. I mean, I got to give credit what credit due, man. Organized crime unit in Chicago, they did a thorough job of what they, putting their team together and surveillance and all that. They really had real evidence and drugs and guns and all that stuff. And that Fed case I got, man, that was some duct tape stuff, man. The Fed case, dealing with the feds and dealing with the states is night and day.
Well, along with what I just mentioned, according to the reports, they said that the drug ring received other drugs from Mexico, diluted the narcotics before selling the product to gangs and other street dealers for resale in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Mm-hmm. So basically, you were pushing this stuff up to like 4 different states.
Yeah,
not you personally, but your guys.
Yeah, I mean, me personally too. I mean, I took my show on the road. I mean, I got too big for Chicago. Like it was opportunities was presented, and I wasn't scared to take it to where they wanted to go. They was buying large amounts of drugs, so the reward was worth the risk at that time.
Right, because they also raided a bunch of homes. There was a home on 1200 block on 168th Street, which I guess was the packaging center for the drugs, and a Chicago home on the 10,000 block of South May Street, which I guess was the distribution center. They also confiscated a home in Olympia Fields worth $175,000, another home in Houston for $500,000, and all those homes belong to you.
They did.
Okay. How many homes do you have at your height?
I had a lot of property because I was in the real estate business, so to give a real number, I'd be lying because it's fractional sharing and all that stuff. I own at one point probably over 20 buildings.
Okay. You got indicted on a drug conspiracy and other charges, along with a few other people: Christopher Trammell, Amzik Terry, Alex Duncan, Kenneth Dunlap, Holly Baskin Spears, and brothers Preston and Randall Patterson. Mm-hmm. These are all people you knew?
I knew most of them. Some of the people that I didn't know because it was people that I was serving, they were serving, so I didn't know them. But, I mean, everybody you just named, everybody on that case stood up.
So no one cooperated?
Nobody cooperated.
Really?
Nobody.
Okay, why do you think that is?
I picked a stand-up crew. I got lucky. Blessed. Nobody told.
Okay. So this whole crew gets busted. Nobody tells. What ultimately happens to all these people I just mentioned?
Everybody got convicted. Well, I take that back. So out of everybody on there, one person beat their case in the state, and then the feds came back and superseded my indictment in the Fed case to bring them up, to lock them up for some Fed stuff. But everybody lost their case or took a cop except one person, and they end up, they got mad and jealous. Oh, you think you're doing something? Okay, we're going to put you in this superseding indictment in the Fed case, and end up getting time.
Okay, and what amount of time were they getting, like, on average?
I think the one guy that got caught with the 65 keys, he got 17 years. And the guy with the 30 keys, he ended up catching a Fed case at the same time, and didn't have to do with my Fed case. So they ran the cases concurrent, and he ended up getting 10 years. And the person that got caught with the 30 or 35 keys, they beat the case initially, and then the feds indicted them. They ended up getting about 3 years because they had already got the big fish, me. Mm-hmm. So they gave them a minor role and gave them all those deductions for being first-time offender, family, and all that other stuff.
Okay, and you were given $1 million bond?
Yes.
You paid it?
No, I went on the lam.
Really?
I jumped $1 million bond.
Aha.
Yeah. So Illinois bond works different than everywhere else. We the only place that you pay 10%, and then you get all your money back except 10%. So if you got $1 million bond, you pay $100,000, you get 99, whatever 10%, 90,000 back. So like if you get $1 million bond here, you got to get somebody, a bail bondsman, to pay 100,000. Then the bailsman keep the $100,000. It don't work like that in Chicago. So, I'm the gingerbread man. Catch me if you can. I was gone to win.
Okay, so you jump on.
Hello.
And then where'd you go?
Man, I was out and about like a Girl Scout on a new route trying to figure it out without a doubt. Man, being on the run ain't no fun. Trust me.
I bet.
Please believe that. I was everywhere.
Okay.
And I was close too at the same time. I can't tell you that because I might have to go on the run again. No, I'm just joking, man.
I mean, were you out of the country?
No, for real. No, I never went out. I never made it out the country.
Why? Because you just couldn't.
I just felt like I was gonna beat the case, man. When you got a lot of money, you just cocky, man, for no reason. You don't understand. It's one you, and then there's a whole team of people against you.
Well, I mean, when you talk about federal cases, it's the United States of America versus.
But I didn't have a federal case.
You had a state case at that point.
I had a state case at first, so that's what made me have even more confidence.
Okay. But the state case, you're facing 60 to life.
Yes, I was.
And you're what, 30-something at the time?
34.
34. So you're basically twice your life at that point behind bars. They finally catch you?
Yes, I finally ended up getting caught.
How did they catch you?
Traffic stop. That's what they claim, but I believe somebody gave me up. I can't prove it though. I was in another state, picking up some bread just to be on the run. It costs money to be on the run. For all you guys that want to be on the run, man, can't be on the run broke. It ain't gonna happen. It's a beautiful thing to be rich. I can attest to that. So I had plenty of money, and I went to go get me some money so I can, continue to enjoy my life. And you got to realize it wasn't all the technology they have today with all this voice recognition, cameras everywhere, facial recognition. It was kind of easy to move around. They didn't have digital driver's license back then, and it was easy to move around.
Okay, so you finally get caught. They extradite you back to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up catching a Fed case as well?
Exactly. So I get back, fighting the state case for about 1.5 years in the county jail. And I'm in the hole at this time because I had to whoop a dude. I gave him some act rights and I told you so's. And they put me in the hole. And then the marshals come and they was like, pack your bags. So I'm thinking that the case actually got picked up by the feds. I'm thinking this is, the same case being picked up. I called my attorney and long story short, he was like, no, this is a new case out of the Eastern District because Illinois is called the Northern District. Okay,
so now you have a state case and a federal case at the same time.
Pressure.
So the Fed case comes first.
Well, we strategically, me and my team of attorneys came up with the plan to fight the Fed case first because big time is supposed to eat up little time. Mm-hmm. So we figured if we lost there, then we can get the state case to be ran concurrent with it.
Okay, how much were you facing on the Fed case?
30 to life.
30 to life.
I was level 42. It was 30 to life. That's the least amount of time I can get. Not unless I take a cop. The cop was 25 years. And the only way you can get less than 30 years at level 42 if you cooperate.
Okay. They asked you if you want to cooperate?
Absolutely.
And you told them?
I told them to go play with a bomb.
Could you have walked away by cooperating?
No, they offered me 9 years to cooperate. They wanted me to take them to Colombia, Mexico, California, Atlanta, and maybe one other place. But
they want to go on a world tour with you.
Yeah, they want to break a real cat down, man. But I ain't no tent, so I don't fold.
I mean, I can't even imagine going to Colombia to try to set someone up for a Fed case.
I can't imagine it.
Imagine the danger level just overall of doing that.
Well, the guys don't think
about lock me up. I'm good. I'm not doing that.
Guys don't think like that no more. I'm from the old school, man. I'm the last of the dying breed, man. They don't cut them like this no more.
Yeah, I bet. Okay, so you have the Fed case. You're facing 30 to life. And the 2 life is a dangerous part of the equation because you can get 5 to life and end up doing the rest of your life in prison. They could just keep denying you every year. I mean, well,
they don't do the parole system in the feds. You do 85% of your time. But life is life in the feds. There's no parole. When you get life, you stuck there. You go home in a wooden box. That's how that go. That's how that story ends.
Okay, so you're facing 30 to life, and you actually start the trial.
Mm-hmm.
How much money did you spend in that case with all the lawyers and everything?
I had a team of 3 attorneys, and I spent, I don't want to exaggerate, because I ended up paying for everybody else lawyers too. I spent over $500,000 in attorney fees.
Okay. And with that $500,000 you spent, you actually ended up being found guilty.
Yes.
It was a jury verdict?
Yes, I went to trial.
Okay. When you heard guilty at 34, 35 years old, how'd you feel?
Oh, I don't even know how I feel. I think the wind was knocked out of me, but it was, pretty much expected because when people bought 150 some keys and then $3 million cash, and there's a black guy with a $2,000 suit on, I'm guilty. Jesus Christ gonna be hard to beat that one.
I mean, what was the defense? Like, how did you try to get out of it?
Well, I never got caught with anything. Everybody else got caught. And then all the drugs that they bought in the federal case is from the state case. So how you gonna prove they ain't got me on tape giving nobody nothing. They don't have me on tape making no drug deals or nothing.
Well, so how do they convict you? If all your co-defendants are not cooperating, they haven't caught you with anything.
So hold on, let me back up. My co-defendants in my state case did not cooperate. The Fed case, they put me on with a bunch of cats. I ain't even know these cats. But the main guy I was serving, he cooperated. He went down there and went platinum. He went double platinum. Luther Vandross, double platinum. He's working on diamond status. The man is a cold rat and a BITCH, all caps.
And he cooperated completely against you.
Oh, my God.
Took the stand and everything?
Did he take the stand?
Pointed you out?
He did the Watusi. He took the stand. He was cold. He was cold-blooded, man. The man pointed me out, and I ain't do nothing but make the man a millionaire. And he returned the favor by saying, hey, I got caught talking on the phone about drugs. I got caught with all this money. I got caught with drugs. I got set up by my own cousin. So let me just do something to the guy that did the most for me. Hey, he pointed me out. He ended up getting like 5 years. And then when he took the stand, he's trying to give me life because the case carried 30 to life. The feds told me if I go to trial, they're going to give me life because of all the stuff that's attached to me. And and you asked, how could you get convicted? I told you, the state and the feds is different. At the time I went to trial, they use a lot of relevant conduct. People can just come in there and say, oh, because this dude said I sold him 60 keys. That's just the most arbitrary number in the world. They made him say that because anything over 50 keys is, this 30 to life category. So he put me at the 60. So 50 to 150 keys is the same amount. You get the same time. And then 150 keys to infinity is the same amount of time. So, it's a strategic thing, man. I ain't mad at the cat, man. He got to live with the label of a rat, and I got to live with the label of a boss and a stand-up guy.
Okay, so you end up blowing trial in your Fed case, and they gave you 30 years for that?
They gave me 360 months, which is 30 years. The feds don't sentence you in years, they sentence you in months.
Okay. So now you're looking at 30 years in the feds, and then there's a state case.
That is correct.
And you got 12 years.
Yes. So what I ended up doing was I was sitting in the county jail. I've been locked up at this point like 5 years. I'm sitting in the county jail is the worst time. I mean, it's terrible, especially Cook County.
Cook County?
Woo. All county jails is bad, but Cook County is a whole nother ball game.
We just had a couple guys from Chicago, Rico Reckless and Ewald Samo, talk about what goes on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The Cook County jail.
It's real. That's why I told you I gave the dude to act right, and I told you so's. You know what I'm saying?
The most horrific I ever heard, actually.
Yeah.
What Glock Dookies in that bitch? Pull up on your ass with a Glock Dookie, rob you. Glock Dookie in front of the grave, toothpaste. That bitch got in it, piss in it, nut in it, shaving cream, all type of shit. Walk up on your ass with that bitch. What? Move right now. Spray the bitch in your face. You don't want this. You getting robbed.
You telling me they make guns?
Glock Dookies.
AK-47.
Glock Dookie with a switch on that bitch. Nigga, they put piss, nut.
That actually happens in these jails?
Look, Cook County ain't no joke. You got to realize Chicago is a gang-cultured city. So everybody in there is gang affiliated. So you got all these oppositions in different neighborhoods and stuff where you can't go and hide. You can't shoot to California. You go in California. The street is called California. You right there. So there's a lot of foolishness and chicanery that transpire, in there. And it's a lot of, when I was in jail, they had a lot more organization. I don't know what it is now. It's just the biggest fool, I guess. So that's how that game go.
Okay, so you get 12 years in your state case.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's supposed to run concurrent, but they're trying to tack it on to the 30 years.
So let me break that down for you. I end up taking a cop for 12 years. The case carries 60 to life. And the reason why I took the cop, honestly, is so I can go to the state penitentiary. Because I want to go to the state penitentiary because guess why? You get your own television in the state penitentiary. And I made a promise to myself that I would never get into a fight over television because a lot of people get their head bust open about a television because, they jailhouse politics. So I was able to get my own television that I can turn my own channel. Woo. So I took the cut so I can go do state time because in fair time, you can't get your television either. You got to go to the day room. So that's the reason why I took it. I was wore out. I already had 30 years. So I took the cop for 12 years, which is on the record that the judge said run concurrent with the 30. Right? He asked me, what do you want to go? He said, you want to do state time or fair time first? I said, to me, to the state for the television. That's where I wanted to go. And when I did my state time, they transferred me to the Fed joint. And when I get there, they said, guess what? Ain't none of the time you did in the state gonna count. So my out date was 2035.
Damn. 42 years.
Yes, my out date was 2035, and it was 2031 with good time. That means I got to go 20-something years without whooping a joker getting into some fisticuffs.
Okay. So you started doing your time. During the course of doing this time, what do you think was the most craziest thing you had to go through?
The craziest thing is just watching guys you thought was built a certain kind of way, man. Really not that guy. They facades, man. That was the strangest thing for me. Just watching cats, man, just unravel and fold, and just can't stand pressure. That to me. Everybody's jail experience is different. My intellect and understanding that I read the contract before I signed it, so it was in the contract that I can go to jail, so it didn't bother me like that. Watching people feel more hurt that I'm doing time than I was feeling myself. Like when my parents came, my sister, my sibling, my girlfriends, when they came to see me, they was hurting worse than me. I was okay. I wasn't okay to be in jail, but jail didn't break me down because it's mental. And mentally, I'm one of the strongest guys on this planet. And thought is the cause of it all.
Well, ultimately, you had 30 plus 12. You were able to make the 30 and the 12 run concurrent, right?
Yes and no. So what happened was how I was able to win my appeal was I was on direct appeal, and I had favor on me because when I was locked up in the state case, I kept asking for extensions for my direct appeal because I was telling them that I'm doing this state time and, I need to go through all these discovery and all that. And during that time, I kept getting all those extensions. A case law came out called Booker and Blakely. And when on my direct appeal, I was able to get back on Booker Blakely, which stated that the guidelines that they had in place, which was mandatory guidelines, which said I carried 30 to life, said they was unconstitutional. So when Booker Blakely was put in play, it changed it from being mandatory to advisory. So when I went back in front of the judge, I had all these mitigating factors, and he agreed with my argument and reduced my sentence from 30 years to 10 years.
Got it. How did that feel?
Oh my God, that was the best feeling in the world. It was euphoria, it was utopia, it was nirvana, all of that. It really was. I really literally didn't hit I walked on clouds for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, and when he lowered it to 10, how many years were you in at that point?
I was in 7 years. So when he lowered to 10, I still had, according to them, because I went into the federal penitentiary system in 2005, and they resentenced me in 2007. To them, I still had additional 6.5 years to do because they still hadn't credited me the time I did in the state. So I had got sentenced to 12 years, but you in the state of Illinois, you do half your time and you get 6 months good time. So I did 5.5 years on that bit. So when they they took me out the FCI and sent me to a camp, and I still was fighting to get the time credited. Eventually, I won that through what they call a thing called administrative remedy, where they agreed with my argument that the time should be credited because the drugs and the case and the timeline was all the same. And it was on the record that the judge wanted my case ran concurrent.
Well, ultimately, you went from potentially 42 years to doing 8 years and getting out in 2007.
Yes, I mean, it wasn't potential. Yeah. I was sentenced to 42 years, and the time was real, and I would have had to do it if I didn't win my appeal, because the feds, they stingy on giving time back. They really stingy, man. So I put myself in a very unique category when I did the unthinkable. Here's a guy that had millions of dollars and hundreds of keys sitting on a table that's got a sentence of somebody that's affiliated with somebody like me. But, I never got caught with none of those drugs, and it was... you got to follow the law. You can't break the law to enforce the law. That's called fruit of the poison tree. So I call it a blessing, and thank God.
I mean, how did it feel to walk out in 2007?
It was a beautiful thing, man. A lot of people thought they saw a ghost because they thought the story was over for me when I got those 42 years. People would just disappeared on me, started treating me real bad, and playing me like I was a stool pigeon. And the cold part about it is, the guys that tell, they come back home, they get celebrated. Here, I am a stand-up guy, and nobody went to jail behind what Keith Presley said. Ain't nobody can say that I pointed them out or I went behind some tinted windows and gave some secret debriefing or what's the other thing called? Can't even think of the name of it, where you basically go tell everything, a proffer.
Proffer agreement.
Yeah.
Queen for a day.
Yeah, there you go. So nobody got any proffers, nobody got no debriefings, nobody got no statements, nobody got nothing. I'm stand up 100%, no clouds over my head, and I'm proud of that.
Well, one thing that I've always heard with guys who are in a position like yours that go in for a long period of time, they put property in other people's names, they have people hold money for them and so forth. And then when they get out, the money's spent. There's usually a good reason from the person why they spent it, because they needed it more than you. The properties in someone else's name, and they don't want to give it back. And all this stuff that they're thinking they're going to have waiting for them is usually not there.
Let the church say amen. That is the gospel truth, man. That's why I named my book, It's a Dirty Game. It's dirty, man. This game is dirty. From people that you think you can trust, family, friends, associates, business people, corporate people. I had people from some of the biggest corporations in the world scam me, man, because once they hit the fan, because, I had to do everything like under the rug, behind it. So that's why, I'm pushing this legal thing so bad. I'm pushing it tough because you can live the same lifestyle without having to go through all that. You can take care of your own affairs. You don't have to trust nobody to take care of your affairs. You put your affairs in order, you take care of your business, and you ain't got to worry about going to jail.
I mean, if you were to guess how much people stole from you by the time you got out, how much would that be?
It's in the millions, because I told you all those properties I had, my accountant ended up stealing them.
Wow.
He ended up going to the DEA on me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Your own accountant.
My own accountant. But you got to read the book to find out what happened to him.
Okay. I mean, did you ever run it, aside from your account, did you ever run into the people that stole from you like that?
I'll tell you a funny story. A dude I used to front $1 million worth of drugs to. When I was locked up, my sister said she saw him at the front row of a concert. He didn't even ask about me. That's cold-blooded, man. Mm. Not only is you not, I didn't tell on you, which I never tell on nobody. You don't have enough respect to say, man, how your brother doing? He go $200 or $300 for him. Even though I ain't no $200 or $300 guy, you should have dropped some thousands on him. I'm giving you $1 million worth of drugs. Mm. You don't pay me. You owe me. I'm a stand-up guy. Like, what can a person ask for, man?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I hear from people that go in, like, for example, Freeway Ricky Ross, he said that when he first got life in prison and his own plug ended up testifying against him, he got angry. He felt it was unfair. This is a guy that he helped make millions of dollars to, who he was close to, and they knew each other's families. And how could this guy turn against him? And it was just, you know, he really felt like a victim until he took some time to realize that going into the drug game, you will get told on. Mm-hmm. It's not a maybe it'll happen. It's going to happen. And once he accepted in his mind that, hey, getting snitched on is part of the drug game, so I can't be mad at the people who snitched on me because this is what I signed up for. And at that point, he took, you know, the law into his own hands, and he managed to find a loophole to get him out.
Yes.
Did you come to the same conclusion when you were in prison?
Me and Rick have a similar story from the standpoint that how I caught that organized crime unit case. The cartel, one of their workers got caught with like 700 bricks and 5 million cash, or the vice versa.
Damn.
It was vice versa, and they cooperated, and that's how they started the investigation. So, yeah, the guy didn't tell me directly, but he told on how he was a worker, so he flipped. And so, for me, my story a little bit different. Yeah, I was bitter. At the guy that told on me. I have to admit that, and it's very similar, but just a little bit different. I never accepted all that time. Like, I just knew that my life wasn't meant for me to be doing 42 years in jail for 2 other people that got caught up. At that point, I never been caught with nothing except a pistol.
Okay, so you get out in 2007. And at that point, you're completely done with the drug game.
Yes.
Was it tempting?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, so this is the God honest truth. When I got out, God is my witness. A guy came to me talking about he got 300 on the way.
300 kilos.
Yes.
Okay.
I laughed at him because to me that wasn't enough. Not knowing that the trajectory of the game had changed immensely. You know, like when I went to jail, you know, keys was 15,000, whatever. And now they was like 30, 35,000. And it, you know, you had a bunch of guys that was 50 key guys, 100 key guys. You know, you had a bunch of that all those days is going up and dry. So I laughed. And then when I seen how serious it was, I'm like, whoa, man, that was a blessing. But that guy, he ended up disappearing, man. So that's crazy. I mean, I wasn't home a week, and he showed up. But even when I was locked up, the cartel, they came to see me. You know, they had their ways of coming to see me just to make sure I was doing the right thing, and they saw that I was doing the right thing. So, you know, they understood that I'm stand up, man. That's the only way. Nobody wants to do 42 years. Nobody want to do life. Nobody want to do 10 years. But if you're playing the game, you gotta be a man and accept what come with the game.
Well, you ended up writing a book about your experiences.
Yes, I did.
And what's unique about the book is you're actually selling the book for $1,000.
Yes, $1,000 American money.
Right. And how many have you sold so far?
I have sold, as of today, 201 books, and I haven't even released the book yet. I'm going to do an official release April 15th. That's going to be my official release date. So I've pre-sold 201 books, and I'm pretty sure before April 15th come around, I'll be done sold some more. So my ultimate goal is to sell 1,000 books at $1,000. 1,000 times 1,000 equal $1 million, right, which make me a legitimate millionaire. Proven to the world, proven to myself first, but proven to the world that the hustle is transferable. And that's what it is. I'm going to do it. I can't be stopped. Being on this show is going to help me because the real guy is going to kick in and see the realness, peep the authenticity, peep my pedigree, and going to want to support a real guy doing something real. And then once you get a real guy in play, then we can reach for our own. You know, you get with the likes of your kind. Because when a sucker on the scene, a player don't stand a chance.
Mm. And the book is actually on your shirt right now.
There it is.
It's a dirty game.
It's
Memoirs
a dirty
of
game.
A Hustler.
Memoirs of a Hustler, man.
KP Presley.
Man, get at me. KP the Man 1000 IG, kptheman.com, where you can buy the book or DM me. That's what's happening. Man, I appreciate the plug, man.
Absolutely. Well, listen, KP, I appreciate you coming in and telling your story. A lot of people in your position, I think, would have just cooperated and walked away and went to go live somewhere out of the way and maybe changed their identity, go into the witness protection.
I couldn't do it, man. I listen, I could not do it. It's not in me. And for those who do, that's on you. I'm not here to down anybody that choose that path. I'm here to represent the real dudes, man. The real stand-up cats. If you ain't never seen a stand-up dude before, you're looking at him right here on this television show. On this podcast. You're looking at a real dude. So I read the contract before I signed it, and I'm glad I stood. And for those who folded, that's on them. They got to live it with themselves.
Well, right now there's a kid in Chicago, a teenager, that's going to be watching this and saying, well, I'm going to be the next KP, but I'm not going to make all the mistakes he made, and I'm never going to go to prison, and I'm going to be a billionaire off this. What would you tell that kid?
I would tell him that the drug game is designed for you to lose. It's fixed. It's fixed from the standpoint that you have to buy the drugs from somebody and you have to sell it to someone. So that means it's 2 against 1 already. We ain't got to the part where this person selling it to that person, that person, that person. So it's designed for you to lose. And in this day and age, they tell before they stand. The telling team is bigger than the hustle team. Remember that. The telling team is bigger than the hustle team. So get in, get out, and move around, man. I'm showing that you can become a millionaire selling books. Find you a niche and hit it.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, and I've always looked at this myself, is that when it comes to illegal activity, the more effort you put into it and the bigger it becomes, it just means there's a bigger penalty at the end of it. So you're hustling towards your demise. So isn't it just better to hustle in a legal profession where the bigger you get, you could actually stay there and continue to grow, as opposed to, have a huge crash at the end? Because most guys I've interviewed, it's usually the same story. I balled out for 5 years and got 15 years. I balled out for 4 years and got 20 years. It's always a ratio. For every year you're living the life and got the girls and the cars and the money, there's usually 3, 4, 5 years in prison that you pay for all that balling, which to me is just not worth it.
I would agree with you from the standpoint of where you're looking at it from. But when you have no other option, that you think you have no other options, then that's something that the risk is worth the reward. And you're right. The story is the same. That's why I didn't write the book 20 years ago, because everybody wanted the story because they knew I made millions of dollars and dated celebrities and rode private jets and all that stuff. But I'm sitting in jail with 42 years. The story was a losing story. So now that I have 25 years later, I have a winning story. That's why I'm coming out from behind the walls and letting everybody know, yeah, I was a kingpin, but look at me now. I am an I throw international boxing matches all over the world, bigger than life entertainment. And I make money off of that. I make money selling books. And these are just showing that the hustle is transferable, man, because anytime you're just negotiating with people, a lot of people don't have the confidence that I have in their ability. They just feel like they're stuck in that world. So I agree with you that it's not worth it, because you're going to go to jail, you're going to get killed. And I was one of the smartest ones and one of the most successful ones, and it happened to me. I never got caught on my own, but somebody threw me under the bus. And that's why I said the fight is fixed.
That's what it is. KP, appreciate you coming in. Looking forward to reading your book.
Man, look here, man. I want you to do something real famous, man. I want you to purchase this book from me, man, because I promise you, on everything I stand for, man, that it would enlighten you.
All right. That's what it is then.
That's what it is.
Till next time.
Man, my man.
Peace.